Good morning, friends. Last lecture we have to end of the point that is about the manufacture of the industrial alcohol from the different types of the step. That is manufacturing of the ethyl alcohol from the molasses, manufacture of ethyl alcohol from food grain, manufacture of ethyl alcohol from fruits, and the manufacture of ethyl alcohol from the hydrocarbon. Okay, therefore this is the four step we are to manufacturing the ethyl alcohol. Okay, in this lecture we are to start the next point that is about the manufacturing of the alcohol beverages in the fermentation industry. Okay, therefore look at this. You are to firstly the manufacturing of the wines, that the wine is alcoholic beverages and it is made from the fermented grapes or the other fruits. Okay, you are to very known about the wine is a alcoholic product. Okay, that alcoholic beverages, and that alcoholic beverages you are to made from fermented grapes or the other fruits. You have to also known about the different types of the fruits and the grapes. You have to formation of the wines, and therefore you have to fermentate these grapes and the fruits. You have to form the alcoholic beverages, and that alcoholic beverages it is known as wine. Okay, the secondly, the natural chemical balance grape, the ferment without addition of sugar, acid, enzyme, water, and the other nutrient. Okay, therefore you have to know about the natural chemical balance grapes ferment without the addition of the sugar. Okay, means you have to fermentate the grapes and the other fruits. Okay, and therefore you have to not the addition of the sugar, acid, enzyme, and water and other nutrient, because the natural chemicals are balanced into the fruits and the grapes. Therefore it ferment without the addition of the sugars, acid, enzyme, water, and other nutrient, because the grapes it is a chemical balance because it containing the natural chemicals. Okay, third point is the yeast consume the sugar in the grapes and it is converted to ethanol. Okay, the yeast is consume the sugar in the grapes and it is converted to the carbon dioxide. Okay, you have to take the yeast, and that yeast you have to consume the sugar in the grapes. Okay, you have the addition of the yeast into the fermentation process of the grapes. Therefore that yeast it is a consume the sugar into the grapes and it is converted to the ethanol and the carbon dioxide. Okay, look at this reaction. That reaction it is says that you have to take the glucose, then in presence of zymes yeast, therefore it is converted to the ethyl alcohol and the carbon dioxide. Okay, therefore the wine making it is also called as the vinification. Okay, means that reaction it is shows that there you have to taken the aqueous solution of the glucose and then in presence of zymes yeast to produce the ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. Okay, therefore the wine making it is also called as the vinification. Okay, that the vinification of the wine it is a wine making is also called as vinification. Okay, means you have to wine make and therefore it is called as vinification. That wine making it is divided into two category. Okay, you have to wine making it is divided into two category. First is wine production without carbonation. Okay, wine production without carbonation means some of the wines you have to produce without the carbonation process. Some of the wine you have to produce without the carbonation process. And the second category is about the wine production with the carbonation called as the sparkling wine or the champagne. You have to know about the some of the champagne bottles. Okay, you have to break them its knock, and therefore it is a spread outward of the bottle because it containing the carbonation process. Therefore it is a sparkling wine. Okay, it is also known as sparkling wine, and this is the wine production with the carbonation process. It is called as sparkling wine or the champagne. This is the two category you have to wine making. Okay, then nextly the process. Okay, after harvesting the grapes taken into the winery and prepared from the primary ferment, at this stage the red wine is a diverges from its white wine making. Okay, you have to harvesting the grapes, and after harvesting the grapes you have to taken into the winery and that is prepared from the fermentation. Okay, that grapes you have to prepare for the fermentation from the primary fermentation. At this stage the red wine is a diverges from the white wine making. Means you have to taking the red wine stage, you have to formation, and it is a diverges from its white wine making. Okay, therefore you have to discuss the first wine, that is a red wine. It is a made from the must of black or the red grape skin, gives the wine its color. Okay, means that red wine you have to formation made from, it is a must of black or red grape skin. Okay, black or red grape skin, you have to formation of this red wine, and therefore its color, red wine means that the black or red grape skin gives the wine its color to the red wine from the must. Okay, then secondly, the white wine, it is a made from the fermenting made by pressing the crushed grapes to the extracted juice from its white grapes. Okay, means that white wine you have to prepare from, it is a made from the fermenting made by pressing the crush. Okay, fermenting made by pressing the crushed grapes into extracted juice from the white grapes. Okay, means that second point, it is said that you have to that white wine you have to made from the fermenting. Okay, in this fermenting, and that fermenting, it is made by pressing the crushed grapes. Okay, pressing the crushed grape into extracted juice from white grapes, and you have to formation of white wine. Okay, there's thirdly, the rose wine. It is made from the red grapes, and where the juice is allowed to stay in contact with the dark skin and long enough to pick up the pinkish color, and therefore that rose wine you have to made from the red grapes, and there this juice is allowed to stay in contact with the dark skin. Okay, this juice is allowed to made to contact with the dark skin, and therefore it is long enough to pick up the pinkish color. Okay, and therefore this is a rose wine, and therefore you are to making of the red wine, it is called as malolactic conversion. Okay, you are to making the red wine, and therefore this conversion is a malolactic conversion. Okay, this is all about the manufacturing of alcoholic beverages. Nextly, the grapes. Okay, that the grapes wine manufactured by following steps. Okay, therefore first is the viticulture. Okay, viticultures, it is a wine production you have to form, and these steps you have to useful for the manufacturing of the grapes wine. Okay, therefore the factor which influence the grapes flavor, that is the climate of the vineyard regions, that is a drainage around the vines, humidity of the region, sun exposure, and the soil quality. Okay, means that the viticulture, it is says that your climate of the vineyards region. Okay, vineyards region means what? It is shiny sunlight, and therefore it is a climate of the vineyard region, and therefore the drainage around the vines. Okay, there was some of the drainage around the vine, and therefore the humidity of the region. Okay, in this grapes humidity, and in this humidity of the region means you have to plantation of the grapes from this region, and therefore the humidity is a maximum into this region. Sun exposure, maximally your grapes are the sun exposure. Okay, sun exposure maximally give to the grapes. Then soil quality, your soil quality is maximally improvement. Okay, then second step is about harvesting. The grapes are picked up by the hand or mechanically, and it is a decision or the harvest informed by the level of sugar and the acid, the weather, the forecast. Okay, therefore look at this is the harvesting. That harvesting, it is says that the grapes are picked up by hand or mechanically. Okay, therefore the first photograph, it shows that some of the workers are harvesting the grapes from by hand, or in this second picture it shows that this it is a mechanically you are to harvesting them, and therefore the decision of harvest by the level of sugar and acid. Okay, means that this is the important point for the harvesting, that it says that your decision of harvest. Okay, you have to decision harvest by hand or the mechanically, it is a dependent on level of sugar and acid into the grapes. Means into the grapes sugars and acid level, it is important for the harvesting decision. Okay, secondly, the weather forecast, some of the rainy season, that rainy seasons, therefore the some of the affected the grapes, and therefore you in this weather forecasting, you are to harvesting them. This is the important factor for the harvesting. Then nextly, the steaming and the crushing. Okay, steaming and crushing means, steaming means it is a separation of the steams and the grapes which are sent the press. Okay, ways, therefore the steaming means that the steaming is the separation of the stems. Okay, you are to separate the stem from the grapes and the grapes which are sent to the press. Okay, means you are to harvesting the grapes and then you are to steaming or the crushing, then you are to steaming them. Steaming them means what? Some of the stems and some of the buds are joining the grapes, and therefore it is removable into the steaming. That the steaming is the separation of the stems and the grapes, and therefore it is sent to the press. Okay, then secondly, the crushing. A horizontal press squeezes the broken grapes. Okay, you are to, this is the second diagram, that photo of second diagram. That second diagram, it shows that the horizontal press, look at this, this is the horizontal place, and that horizontal press is the squeezes the broken grapes. Okay, squeezes the broken grapes. Okay, some of the grapes are the squeeze them, and therefore that squeezes grapes, it have broken into this crushing, therefore it is a broken the grapes, and therefore it is separating the fruit juice. Okay, that the crushing, it is separating the fruit juice from the skins, from the grape skin. After the crushing, the start the fermentation process. Okay, after the crushing, your process of the grapes are start the fermentation process. Okay, therefore next step is about the fermentation process. Okay, in this fermentation process, therefore after the crushing, therefore this juice, it is passes into the fermentation process. In this fermentation process, the sugar and acid are naturally react with the wild yeast. Okay, means that point it is says that ki after the crushing process, therefore it is provided into fermentation process. In this fermentation process, therefore the grapes containing the sugar and the acid, that is a naturally, and that naturally it is reacted with the wild yeast. It is reacted with the wild yeast, and that is the vineyard adding their own yeast. Okay, vineyard means there is some of the company, and that company is adding their own yeast, and therefore the fermentation can take from the 10 to 30 days to convert the natural sugar into alcohol. Okay, in this fermentation process, the fermentation can take the time for the conversion of natural sugar to alcohol is about the 10 to 30 days. Okay, so this is the fermentation process. Then the draining process. Okay, therefore after the formation of the alcohol, therefore the liquid wine is drained from the vat without being the pressed and go into the barrels. Okay, means after the fermentation process, therefore you have to formation of the liquid wine, and that wine you have to drain from the vat without being the press, go into the barrel. Okay, go into the barrel, and that remaining pulp retain about the 20% of the wine. Okay, that remaining pulp is retained about the 20% of the wines. Okay, therefore nextly the pressing, the remaining pulp after the draining pressed to the squeeze out the pressed wine. Okay, in this pressing sector, therefore the remaining pulp you have to form, that is 20%, and after the draining it is a proceed pressed to the squeeze out the pressed wine. Okay, and therefore next it is provided into the mixing. The free run wine and the pressed wine is always the same source, and it is a mixed together in appropriate ratio to obtain the desired balance. That is a mixing, means the free run wine and the pressed wine you have to mix as the same source and mix together at the appropriate ratio to obtain the desired balance. Okay, nextly the clarification steps. Okay, that clarification step, aging and the bottling, this point we are to discuss in next lecture. Thank you.